Real estate, zombies, and boats. Oh my!
Oh yes, let's talk about it.
Welcome to All Things Havasu with Chris Rydell and Lonnie Stevenson. It's everything you'd expect from these guys. Plus some serious interviews about Lake Havasu City. Now, All Things Havasu.
Hello folks, it's time for another edition of All Things Havasu. I'm Chris Rydell, your host, with my co-host, Lonnie Stevenson.
That's me.
What's up, Lonnie?
Not much. How is everything with you?
Good. We had some fun yesterday. We got to speak to Judi Harris about...
Yesterday?
It was yesterday. I just slipped out. This didn't happen today. It happened yesterday. We spoke to our good friend Judi Harris. If you want to know more about the Lake Havasu real estate market, you need to stick around. What else we got going on in Havasu?
All kinds of stuff coming up. Of course, we've got the Reggaefest coming up in a couple of weeks. But also that same weekend is the Home Boat Show. So that ought to be a very popular event here in Havasu. And then, later in the month, it's hard to believe, but we're already getting close to Desert Storm again. So hopefully the weather cooperates this year and doesn't blow them off the lake again like seems to have happened the last couple of years.
Well, they have a lot of stuff going on this year. They have the poker run, the shootout, the street party. The street party is the big where everybody goes down on McCulloch. That's on the 24th, which is a Thursday from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. Is that free, Lonnie? Do you know?
Yes.
It's free.
Yep.
So free is good.
At least the street party is.
Oh, and let's not forget to talk about our contest. Now, people, we did this contest last week, and it's very, very easy to get entered into this contest to win some tickets. We're giving away $500 worth of tickets for the Reggaefest to 8 lucky people. I don't know why people didn't follow the directions, but we only so far have had 4 people enter correctly into the contest. So, if you still would like tickets for the Reggaefest,
how would I do it?
I'm glad you asked that, Lonnie. What you need to do is you need to go to www.facebook.com/All Things Havasu.
All Things Havasu. Wait, I'm writing this down.
All Things Havasu, okay. And like the page if you haven't done that already. If you've liked the page, you're good to go. Then the second thing you need to do...
When you say like the page, you mean like the page at the top, not like the post down at the bottom.
Yes. Well, we also want you to find the post...
Oh my God, there's
I
three
know,
steps?
There's 3 steps to this, and I think this is where we may have lost some people, but we don't want to make it that easy. The second step is to find the post on All Things Havasu about the Reggaefest. There's 2 different posts about it. Either one is fine. Make a comment on the post on our Facebook page, and then hit the share button below your comment, below the post. Is it below your comment, or is it below the post for the Reggaefest? Both. And share it to your wall and say, hey everybody, check out this cool Reggaefest that's coming to Lake Havasu. That's all you got to do. And I'm going to tell you what, you got some pretty good odds of winning some tickets. So if you're planning on going to the Reggaefest anyways, get into the contest to get the tickets for free.
Yeah, man, I can do that, man.
Okay, so back to more things. Back to other stuff. Well, we also got the paintball, the Walking Dead paintball maze, which started on Saturday.
We went down there Saturday.
Did you?
With the attempt to go through it.
How did that go?
Oh my God, it was crowded. We just turned around and
a lot of people.
We'll hit it another night. Yeah, it was extremely crowded. You could hear the paintballs and the stuff going on and people screaming and yelling, and it sounded like everybody was having a really good time inside the maze. But it was an overwhelming crowd for...
Well, opening night, you'd expect that with any event, so I'm sure... I talked to Chad a little while ago. He said 60 people went through last night, so it wasn't as bad. And what's nice about it, it's open every night, so you can go down even during the week. My wife is petrified of that kind of stuff, so she wouldn't go through it with me. But my daughter, I'm rallying her up. I'm picking her up in Vegas this weekend. I'm going to be dragging her down there, so it's going to be fun.
And they're still looking for help, too. They've been so overwhelmed, from what I understand. They're looking for some volunteers to help with that. So.
Right. So if you want to volunteer, that's a good point. You need to get a hold of... if you go down there at 5 o'clock on any night, starting time, talk to Joseph Juno. Find him. He will most likely be dressed as a zombie, but just ask down there for him, and you can. They need volunteers. They need people to actually be zombies if you'd like to do that. If you want to help with the tickets, they have all kinds of different positions that they're looking for help with. So if you'd like to volunteer, it's a fundraiser for the one of the Boy Scout troops.
I think he's also got a couple of other groups that are benefiting from that as well.
So yeah, go down there and check it out.
Down the skate park.
What else, Lonnie? What else?
Not to turn this into a political thing, but obviously this past weekend we had a unfortunate situation with a 11-year-old missing girl down at the channel, but just how quickly the community rallied, and the number of people that were down helping, and the chatter on Facebook and social media and just everywhere you walked, especially downtown area. I mean, that was just the buzz. So that was kind of refreshing that everybody really rallied around. And
right, and for those of you in another area listening, or you haven't heard about this, we had an 11-year-old girl that just came up missing from one of our local beaches here. And like what Lonnie just said, I saw the post on Facebook that someone shared. I want to say it was probably 9:30 at night. By like 10, there were people talking about a search party. When I woke up the next morning, they had people coming out of the woodwork. They had one gentleman, and I wish I could recall his name. He came down, a search and rescue guy from Phoenix came down, who specializes in water rescues. They were looking for her in the water. They were looking for her,
They weren't sure where
they
she
weren't
was.
sure. They weren't sure if something bad had happened to her. They weren't sure if she just disappeared, if she was, having a good time with some friends or whatever. But it was really amazing and refreshing to see how the whole community, people from everywhere, they organized a search party. By 8 o'clock in the morning, there was a bunch of people that down, and they scoured this town, and this had a happy ending.
From what I understand, they started talking about it at 7, that they were organizing at 8, and had over 50 people down that started going through Rotary Park and working their way down around the channel area. And of course, we got spring break going on, so there's a tremendous amount of people down there, but flyers, and just started getting the word out quickly. So
right, well, it had a happy ending. Found her safe and sound. So that was a good thing. That's a great thing about our community. That's why we love this town.
Yes, and hopefully nobody ever has to go through that again.
Yes. Well, with that, let's get back to our conversation with Judi Harris. Judi Harris is the president of the Lake Havasu Association of Realtors. She is also a realtor with Keller Williams Arizona Living Realty. She's a good friend of the program. We thought we would have her in for those of you from out of town that want to know more about the real estate market, what's happening here. We brought her in to talk about that. If you're in town and you want to find out more about the real estate market because you might be interested in buying or selling your house, this is a pretty good podcast for you to listen to. So we ask that you stay tuned. And let's talk to Judi. Well, we're here with, shall I call you Madam President?
You may.
This is Judi Harris with the Lake Havasu Association of Realtors President. We're glad that you're here with us today, Judi.
Thank you, Chris and Lonnie. Thanks for asking me.
Now, before we get started, we want to tell you the real reason why we have you here. There's a debate going across the country, and we want to clear this up once and for all. Is it realtor or is it realtor?
It is realtor, and if I ever hear you pronounce it the other way, you will be in major pain, and that's a promise. It's absolutely realtor.
Is that a campaign promise?
No, that is a personal promise from me to the both of you forever. Even once I'm out of office, I will hunt you down and I will hurt you.
Well, she's with the Lake Havasu Association of Realtors, for all you people out there. So, again, welcome to the show. We wanted to get together and talk with you about stuff with having to do with the real estate community and what the market was like. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
That was my cue, huh?
That was your cue, and you just you dropped it right there.
Even I knew that was your cue, and I'm on the other side.
Reading my notes.
So what can you tell us about the market so far this year? What are we seeing out here in Havasu?
Well, it's a pretty happy market, and certainly in comparison to the years, several years ago that we lived through and are here to tell the tale. We have about 765 single-family homes on the market right now, which is a good number. It's about a 3.5 month supply with all things being equal. And believe it or not, our average list price right now is about $322,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's higher than I would have thought.
Yeah, and when I did my numbers today, I was kind of pleasantly surprised. Our average price per square foot, and remember we're comparing apples to apples, and there's always variables, is about $153. And again, those are active homes; those are not what they're selling for. And our average days on the market is about 224 right now for those active listings.
Now, compared to what we've seen over, especially during, I want to say 2008 to 2011, is that, leaps and bounds over what we saw then, or is this average what we're seeing?
Leaps and bounds. Leaps and leaps and bounds. I can personally tell you that I had a listing that was on the market over 765 days. Back in those dark days of real estate, and much of my business, a large portion of it, was both listing and representing buyers who were purchasing short sales. Times were tough. We sold a lot of foreclosures, and we saw a lot of our friends and fellow realtors, as well as other folks that either lost their homes or came very, very close to the economy. So we're very happy now the way things are looking.
And we've seen the foreclosures slow down. We've seen the short sales, slow down.
They're very minimal now. Yes,
that's a really good, really good sign.
Yes.
Are prices, homes, are they back to 2007 levels, or do you still think we got a little way to go?
Oh, we have a long way to go. No, we're still well below that. 2007 was the very, very peak. 2006 was the peak of the market, and prices were extremely high for Lake Havasu City. And I don't know when we'll see those prices again. We may again in our future, but probably not for a little while. So it's a good time to buy, though.
Do you think the average buyer makeup has changed, where we were dealing more with investors years past, and now we're getting more into people buying for their own personal reasons again? Do you think we're starting to see that switch?
Honestly, we've always had investors that were buying here. We've always had folks that bought because we're a resort community for either a weekend home, a summer home, who were boaters. We've always had folks who said, I'm going to retire in Lake Havasu someday. So they would meet me, and perhaps 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years later would either purchase a home or build a home. We have such an interesting mix because we're a resort community. We've had people that were born here, left to go to school, came back, and now are buying their first home. So we're seeing quite a mix. I would tell you that this past year especially, we had many, many investors that were investing in real estate, in homes here, and that has been reduced just a little bit this past winter. Because our prices picked up over last year. I've seen, personally, I've had fewer investor purchases and listings than I did even a year ago, but the makeup is still pretty similar. Now, the one thing I will tell you that we have seen differently is that in years past, the very higher end homes that we considered high-end prices were pretty much flying off the shelves. That slowed down considerably. It has picked up again this year, certainly more so than last year, but we have seen folks that are purchasing more modestly. They're either building or buying a less expensive home, a smaller home, but fortunately some of those folks are kind of feeling a bit more comfortable, and they're getting into the bigger homes, and by that I mean a 3-bedroom versus a 2, and the higher end market is coming back, however slowly. So
now, you've been a realtor for how many years?
Got my license in 1997, so do the math.
1997, carry the one. Wait, I need my toes. But before that, you were also involved in the real estate industry too, so it isn't like you just started even in 97.
No, I started my working career in commercial banking, and I wanted to be a loan officer, and then I moved to Lake Havasu City from Washington State, and I was offered a position at a title company, and I became what in those olden days was called an escrow assistant or an escrow secretary, excuse that expression, and eventually became an escrow officer, and then I ended up running the office and managing it, and I learned a lot about the escrow and title business.
So you're pretty well rounded. You've been in all three areas.
Yep, and I really and with including doing some loan work. So I really had a taste of a lot of the various sides of this business, and it's all really, really interesting. And it's hard work.
But it's changed a lot over the years too. I mean, you just in the last 5 years, we have seen the whole industry, the forms, and how we go about business has changed dramatically.
Yes, and that is the word I would use.
Now, if I want to sell my house, why do I need to use a realtor? I mean, can I just do this myself? I mean, it's so easy. It's just you just got to sign your name at the bottom of that paper, right? I mean, what do we need to use realtors for?
There are so many reasons that I would and do encourage folks to use a real estate agent, a realtor. And by the way, the difference is a realtor is a member of the National Association of Realtors. We have a code of ethics that we must comply with. A real estate agent, or a licensee as they're called, does not mean that they are a realtor, a member of NAR. A realtor, first of all, will help you price your home properly. Because I have statistics at my fingertips that change constantly, I know what the market is doing from moment to moment. I can tell you for sure what I believe your home will realistically sell for on the market. As a for sale by owner, you may listen to a neighbor, you may read something on the internet or hear something on television that may not be real time, and it may not be accurate. And one thing about Lake Havasu City, because we're a resort community, our numbers are always different than the rest of the country, or almost always different. Secondly, I will market your home. I will schedule open houses and showings with you rather than you having to sit there all day, every day, waiting for somebody to come up. I will represent you in the transaction. I will protect you to the best of my ability from a lot of things. I will give you the benefit of my knowledge and expertise in that representation. And I'm a really, really good negotiator, so I can negotiate a contract on your behalf if you're a seller, and if you're a buyer, I will negotiate on your behalf as a buyer. And last but not least, once your contract is signed by both parties, I will go in and open the escrow with the escrow company, and I will run that escrow for you with a lot of input, with a good escrow officer that will take care of you, a good title company, a good lender.
She's winking.
wink.
She's winking. This is radio; they can't see that.
Yeah, and you know, the main thing too that a lot of folks forget about is once your contract is signed and we open escrow, there is so much behind the scenes work that a good realtor will be in pretty much constant contact with the title company, the escrow officer, the loan officer, and then for a shorter time period, the home inspector, the termite inspector, occasionally the appraiser. There is sometimes multiple phone calls a day making sure everything gets done. And you'll know that it's a good transaction when you don't get a lot of phone calls from your real estate agent, because that means the team behind the scenes is doing everything well and it's working together. We're working together smoothly and bring it to a happy close, and you get your proceeds and the buyer gets an awesome new home.
So what led you to getting involved into the board part of real estate and getting into Madam President? Was it really shots of tequila on a Saturday night, or?
No, not at all. As I think you well know, I can barely handle tequila or much alcohol at all. Lonnie and I have known each other for something like 400 years, and Chris probably 200 years, Chris and I. So we've known each other a long time. Honestly, I was getting involved with the Women's Council of Realtors, which is a smaller organization that was formed back in 1913, but it is a leadership training platform for female realtors, but we invite males as well as our affiliates to join us. And we were talking about some issues that were going on with the Association of Realtors, and somebody was talking about some things that they saw that should be changed, and I remember sitting back and going, wow, that's not right, I think it should be better, and I made that comment, and I was told, well, then you need to run for the board, and I folded my arms and said, never. And about a year later, I was asked to run, and I did. I got elected, and then our past president, our immediate past president, Miss Mary Roberts, talked to me a few years ago and said, I'd really like you to follow me. When I am president, I'd like you to be my president-elect. And I told her, without question, hands down, no, never, not going to happen. And she is quite persuasive. And so I became her president-elect last year. And getting into it, my eyes were open to a couple of things. How much work there is to do to properly represent the Association of Realtors, all the members that pay their dues and expect a high level of performance from us on the board, but also how brilliant and how hardworking the members of the Arizona Association of Realtors are. And the vast majority, if not 100% of those folks, are 100% devoted to what's best for every member of the Association of Realtors in this state. And it's kind of mind-boggling how much these folks do and yet run successful businesses at the same time. And it's an impressive group of people.
Well, I don't think people realize, especially in Lake Havasu, how big of an organization that the Realtors are in town. It's the largest professional organization in town. Am I right with that?
You are correct.
And as an organization, Realtors give back to the community a lot. I don't think people even realize that as much either. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I'm excited that you asked me that. I'm really, really proud this year. Lake Havasu Association of Realtors in 1991 started something called Realtor Olympics. And it wasn't Realtors jumping through hoops, but what it was is 4 of our Realtor members.
I did jump through hoops.
As a matter of fact, you
year.
did. Yeah, you did. I remember.
Hula hoops and
yeah.
That was quite the obstacle course.
It was scary, and I stayed out of it. I remember sitting on the sidelines watching. But 4 of our Realtor members decided that we needed to do something, or they needed to do something to create some camaraderie amongst the agents and the different offices in town, and also have fun and raise money for charity. And here we are these many years later. Our Association of Realtors has raised over $300,000 since 1991. Every single penny of it has gone back to various charities in Lake Havasu. And we have a really exciting year this year. We have a new chairperson for our community outreach. His name is Phil Annette. I think he's been on your podcast. And he has a very exuberant attitude about what kind of a job the association is going to do this year, and we're very excited. He's done some great fundraising, and we're so excited because as the economy has slowly but surely come back, the members of the association, both the Realtors and the affiliates, are excited because we can start participating again and really giving back to our community and watching it thrive again, which is very exciting for me.
So let's fast forward to the end of 2014. What has to have accomplished in 2014 for you to feel like you've made a difference or made an impact during your term?
We as an association need to have a frequent presence, and we are accomplishing that right now through our Facebook page, which is very exciting. Lots of information going out to not only our members, but anybody who friends us on Facebook. They can see what's going on in the Association of Realtors. We have also brought some outstanding education to Lake Havasu City by means of a new broadcast from the Arizona Association of Realtors in Phoenix. They have some absolutely fantastic education. Realtors are required to have recurring education every 2 years. We have to take constant education to keep us up to date in our business. And if we don't get to renew our license. So we have continuing education credits, and we have great instructors, and now we can sit in Lake Havasu Association of Realtors Realtor Center, and we can take these classes from fantastic instructors and not have to leave Lake Havasu. We also are able to get our what is called a GRI, which is Graduate of Realtor Institute, which is sort of like an undergraduate degree in real estate. All in Mojave County. We can take most of our classes in Lake Havasu, take some in Kingman and Bullhead, and complete our GRI and start our path toward knowledgeable real estate practice. So education, I'm really excited to say that's happening local, and our social media presence and communicating with our members so they know we care and that we're out there actively working for their betterment.
Well, the 2 things, you just mentioned the Realtor Center, but before we go back to that, there's 2 things I think about the Realtor organization that people don't realize is the giving back and is the Realtor Olympics. They think it's a Realtor event, and we talked about this on the podcast, so we don't need to go into great details, but this is an event that's going on right now. There's a few events every week between now and the middle of May, it's open to the community. So, we encourage everybody to get involved in these events and come down and see what the realtor community is all about. Be part of the culture, be part of, everything they do. And the other thing is, you just mentioned the Realtor Center. That's another great hidden gem, I think, that the realtors provide for the community that I think most people don't realize. Can you talk a little bit about the Realtor Center?
I'd love to. It is a multi-use building. It has a kitchen. It has storage. It can be expanded or sized down based on some doors that can move back and forth. It is a gorgeous building, perfect for many, many events. It is used for religious services. It is used for birthday parties, for all kinds of social functions, anything
Weddings.
you can imagine, weddings, divorce parties, what have you. And it is available to the public. You just need to call the Association of Realtors to get the amount that we charge for rent, which is extremely reasonable for the size and amenities that building has to offer. We love to have people use it, and it's such a multi-purpose building. I think it's one of the best things that the Realtor Association did some years ago when they built that, and it is not only used for our classes when we have a lot of folks coming in, but we use it for our weekly Wednesday morning sales meetings. Our citywide agents come in every Wednesday morning, but it's a great multi-purpose building.
Well, and I have the opportunity to travel around to some different areas, and I realize how lucky we are, because there are some associations that are even bigger, because we're not the biggest association by any means, but we have this nice facility and the public gets to use it. So it's an awesome, awesome thing.
Okay, so on a personal level, she just shifted in her chair uncomfortably. If you had a choice of being wealthy or healthy, what would you choose?
Hands down healthy.
Yeah.
Hands down. Absolutely. Yes.
Is it a trick question or?
No, it was just a regular.
He thought I was
question.
a money grubbing.
No, I just was seeing if she fit the stigma of.
No.
And what stigmas do you think are associated to realtors that is unfair?
Probably the one that is the most worrisome to me is that we don't work and that we don't work hard. I know so many fantastic realtors that work many, many hours on behalf of their clients to do the absolute best real estate they can do. Oftentimes they put their customers and their clients first, sometimes before their family, which some of us do just because we don't have a choice because things are time sensitive. The good agents, the best agents, are hardworking people. We don't work 8 to 5 days a week. Some weeks we work 7 and 10 days a week.
Well, and I saw a Facebook meme that said, I love being a realtor because I can work whatever hours I want. I can choose whatever 60 those hours are.
Exactly
and I know because I am on the other end of that phone with real estate agents on the weekends, 8 o'clock at night, Sunday. It doesn't matter. You guys are working whenever it's needed, and that's
Most
something that needs to be overcome.
And when real estate picks up, as it did a year ago and has done so ever since, oftentimes folks will say, well, those realtors, they're making so much money and, they're driving the fancy cars. You can make a good living, but you do need to work. You need to work right. You need to work smart, and you need to put your client's best interest first. And when you do that, all that other good stuff comes. But it is not a business, and I can tell you when I got into the business in 1997, what I knew you could pop on the head of a pin about the real estate business, certainly compared to what I know today. And this weekend I had a learning experience. Something new came up that I've never seen before, never experienced. So after all these years, and I got a broker's license in 2008 or 2009, I forget now, which gave me more knowledge about the business. And even with that being said, you learn every single day. And
we're going to start seeing more people now looking at real estate as a career again, because it's going to be the hot career. People that are thinking about getting into the biz or getting their license, any words of advice that you would give them?
Be prepared to work hard, to try to learn from someone that you admire that has already been in the business, a mentor, best thing you can do. And before you spend money on advertising and pens and coffee cups and such, invest in yourself, get a good smartphone, whatever kind of computer you're comfortable with, because those are the tools we use in so much of our business. But the one thing a lot of real estate agents forget is the most effective tool that we have is our hand to knock on doors, to meet and greet our neighbors and friends, and also that personal phone call. And I'm kind of excited to say that in a lot of the classes I've been attending this past year, we're being exhorted to call your customers again. Don't just depend on technology, because some of us did that, especially through those lean years when, to be very honest, people didn't want to talk to me. I'd call them up and they were in pain, and they just didn't want to talk to me. And it was kind of neat when my phone started ringing again. So
as much as technology has changed, it's still back to the basics, like in football, blocking and tackling, and that is pressing palms and making contacts with people that we know.
Absolutely correct.
Well, what I've taken away from our conversation today is it's a good time to sell your home, but it's even a better time to buy your home. We're definitely seeing that we're still on the uptick, right? And that's what we're foreseeing. And
yes, and Lonnie can speak to the fact that rates really haven't changed much from a year ago, when we kind of got some gloom and doom, and some folks got a little nervous. But we chatted a little bit today, and he said, there hasn't been a huge change, so it's a really good time to buy. Really good.
Not year over year, but we have that impending increase in interest rates. The Fed has already made their opinion or their stance widely known that they are going to reduce their involvement. They're going to stop artificially inflating the market that they've been doing for so many years, and we are going to see interest rates rise. It's coming. Short of something catastrophic happening to our economy, they've got to get these interest rates up. They've got to get the return on our investments in our 401ks and our savings plans and our CDs. They've got to get it up. So, yep.
Well, let's do it before they go up.
Do it now.
Please.
Anything else that we haven't talked about today that you wanted to mention?
I'm just really excited that you invited me to be here today, and to let everybody know that the members of the Lake Havasu Association of Realtors are a hardworking bunch. And the neatest thing about doing real estate in Lake Havasu is when our association members walk into a room in Phoenix or in Washington, D.C., or at the National Association of Realtors, lucky for us, we are so... we enjoy ourselves so much when we travel together as a group, or even if there's just 2 or 3 of us, that folks know when we come in a room, and they really welcome us with open arms. And that's a lot of fun. And, there's folks in any other city may not be able to say that, but Lake Havasu is one great place to sell real estate. I can tell you that.
Well, we're glad you like doing it. And which brings us to, if you're, if you have any questions about anything that we've talked about today, if you're looking for anything, Judi Harris she's a realtor. She's with Keller Williams, Arizona Living Realty. Her phone number is 928-846-2888. That's her cell phone. You get right directly to her. Give her a call, and let's check in with our sponsors.
We have sponsors. Let's start off with the Lonnie Stevenson Mortgage Team over at High Tech Mortgage. Buying, selling, or just refinancing your home? Need a second opinion? Give us a call, 928-716-6723.
And you got your real estate agent on one side of the table here. You got your lender over here. You're going to need to open escrow, and that's why you're going to use the good folks at Chicago Title. They are located at 420 South Lake Havasu Avenue, and their phone number is 928-855-4196 for all of your real estate transaction needs. I think we've wrapped it all up.
We have. Until next time.
Thanks, Judi.
Thank you, Chris
Thanks,
and Lonnie.
Talk to you guys next week.
Take care.
Bye-bye.